Howdy, I'm Cooter Pickleberry, this is Florida Man Cooking, and today we are going to make some braised short ribs with a red wine reduction. Absolutely delicious, looks fancy, looks like it's hard to make. It's not, it's real easy. It's absolutely delicious, you're going to love it. Great date night thing, make it for your husband or your wife or your dog or whoever you got a date with. It's good stuff, man. Welcome aboard. And before we get started, here's some dolphins swimming through the backyard this morning. Makes me happy. All right, so this is a pretty easy recipe. We're just going to get everything ready before we start. So a couple carrots, a couple stalks of celery, just chop those up. None of this veg is going to end up in the meat. This is just for cooking. It doesn't have to look good, it just has to be functional. Instead of using onions like I often do with this recipe, I'm using shallots. I think they offer a little bit milder flavor. It's pretty good stuff, pretty easy. So we just cut the ends off both sides and then flip it up on the big part. Cut it down the middle and you're done. We're not going to dice these because it's all coming back out. This is just for the cook. So we'll just peel through these shallots real quick, and they're going to go in the pot just like that. Those are used to add flavor, obviously, but they also deglaze the fond from the searing of the short ribs, which we will be doing shortly. We'll rip through those bad boys. And here's short ribs. I got 8 of them. This turns to be the most decadent, tender, just delicious meat. You can see that intermuscular fat in there. That all adds flavor. It's really good. These become so tender, you have to be very careful moving them around because the bone will fall out. You kind of want the bone to hold together until you get them on the plate. And we add a copious amount of salt and pepper, flip them over. There's lots of sides to these things, so we try to get some salt and pepper on all of it. It takes just a couple of minutes, and I won't waste time doing that for a couple of minutes, but that's probably the last side there. I'm doing this on a sheet pan with parchment paper. People always ask me why I use parchment paper, just to make cleanup easier. And then one little extra step you can skip if you don't want to, but I think it makes it sear a little bit better. I use a little bit of flour. Just the moisture in the meat will bind that flour up, and it gets a nice golden brown crust on it then, which is really kind of a neat thing. So we'll do all 8 of those in that flour. Some people salt and pepper the flour. You don't have to do that. I like to kind of control the amount of salt and pepper that goes on it, so I know exactly what happens when I put it directly on the meat. Here we're using beef tallow in a Dutch oven just to grease things up a little bit. You can use oil if you want. If you have beef tallow, though, it's a beef dish. Might as well stick with beef tallow. We're just going to give these a sear, about a minute per side per piece of meat. Obviously, you don't really have to sear the bone, although you can, and it's kind of tough to say what side's bone and what's not until you get it in there and mess with it. See how they got that beautiful golden brown color? We didn't overcrowd the pan because I don't want this stuff to just steam. I want it to actually sear, so we did 2 batches to get this done. They're pretty good looking. It already smells really good. And we'll just drop the last 3 in there to get those seared up, and again, about a minute aside, something like that. Just looking for that color more than anything. And once they're done, they come out too. We're going to deglaze the pot. You can see a little bit of brown crusty fond on the bottom. We're going to deglaze that with the shallots, and then we're going to throw the carrots and celery on top of the shallots once they've cooked down for a few minutes. Nothing hard about what we've done so far. This is pretty much the whole recipe goes easy like this. So here come the shallots. We'll spin those around a little bit, get that fond up off the bottom. And it takes just a minute or 2 of them sweating out some juices to do that. Threw the rest of the veg in, and then the meat goes right back on top. I didn't show it here, but I did soften up the veg for just a few minutes on medium heat, the carrots and the celery, just to soften them up a bit and release some of their flavors. Now the good part, we're going to throw some wine in. You don't have to go with expensive wine. This is an old moonshine jar. I just poured some stuff out of a box. It doesn't have to be good wine. You're not drinking it. And not that it's necessarily bad to drink, but if you dropped a $100 bottle of wine in there, you would be able to tell the difference between that and a $10 bottle of wine. It just doesn't matter. With 2 cups of wine, then a cactus jar full of beef broth, which is also happens to be 2 cups, so keep those pretty close. And we're just trying to press that meat down gently to get it as wet as possible. We're going to throw the lid on it, and it's going to cook the rest of the time with the lid. So even if it's not directly in the water or in the fluids, it's still going to get the steam from it, so it stays nice and moist. Take it off that. We're going to shove it in the oven now, 300 degrees for about 3.5 hours. A couple of bay leaves, and then a mix of garlic and some herbs that I had dried sitting there. It's basil and thyme. If you had a couple of thyme sprigs, thyme and beef go great together. I just didn't have any. I thought I did, but I guess I used them at Christmas. So in the oven, 300 degrees, 3.5 hours or so. And you can do 250 degrees for 5 hours. You can do 200 degrees for 8 hours, whatever you want to do. And then we pull it out after that time's up and just give it a probe check. I'm not really taking the temperature here. I'm just seeing how tender it is, and it was good. It was done. Now it's time to mix some mashed potatoes up. So for that, we're using 4 big russet potatoes, cut up into bits, peeled and cut up. Throw some salt in there. Turn the heat on the stove up to high and just throw it on there. Forgive me, this is for people who don't know how to make mashed potatoes. It's pretty easy. You got to dice them up, otherwise they get waterlogged and they're just not as good, and they take too long to cook. They get cooked on the outside, not on the inside. So not diced, but decent sized little chunks. And while that's getting ready to boil, we're going to make the wine reduction sauce. So we reach into the Dutch oven, grab some of that juice that was cooked in, the broth and the wine and whatever came out of the meat and the veg. We're just going to stick that in a bowl. And then we're going to poke that meat back down a little bit so it stays in there. The heat's off now. There's no heat going on this stuff. We're just letting it cool, and it's liquid. That keeps it nice and juicy. Put that hot pot back on. Still waiting on the taters to boil. Then we're going to run over to my filthy sink that's full of potato peels. And we're going to strain that into a pot. We're just strain that juice into the pot. We don't want any more chunks. We're just going for liquids now. Lots of flavor though. And we added about another ½ cup of red wine, maybe just a little bit more. Might have had a taste as well, I'm not sure. So we'll move some stuff around. Once again, there's no heat on that Dutch oven. We're just trying to find a place for it to cool. And we're going to grab that burner because it's in front of the camera and fire up the heat on that bad boy. And we're just going to reduce the volume, the quantity of liquid in that pot by about 2/3. So we're going for, I wouldn't call it a syrup. It's definitely more liquid than a syrup, but it's kind of syrupy. And then we got 5 tablespoons of salted butter and whatever was left in the milk jug. And stick that in the microwave for about a minute, minute and a half to melt the butter. We're going to drain the potatoes out in a colander in the sink, and then just dump that colander right back in the same pot. Meanwhile, we're boiling that reduction down. Give the milk and butter a stir. Flatten those potatoes out just a little bit so that it all gets absorbed when we first dump it in. So that's warm milk now and melted butter. And we'll grab the potato smasher and just kind of smash that down a little bit, soften it up. Gives you a nice blanket to throw the liquids in, and it all absorbs very nicely that way. Dump the whole thing in there and just start spinning it around and smashing it just a little bit. It doesn't take very long. This stuff's pretty soft. So we boiled those potatoes once. They went in cold water to start, and then we brought it up to a boil for about 9 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. And they were perfect. It's going for fork tender, fall apart easy. And these are really delicious mashed potatoes. I'll make a mashed potato video someday. This is just kind of a sidelight of this dish. So we can see we've cooked that down quite a bit, and it's gotten a little bit thicker. I'm gonna go just a little bit longer. We see how it's clinging to the spoon there as I pull the spoon out. That's kind of what you're looking for. So we're gonna plate it up. Just me, Hannah Banana, and Cooter Jr. tonight. Killer the Fearsome and the other dogs are hanging out in the kitchen. So we just kind of smash those potatoes around in a rough circle, and then very gently with a slotted spoon and a regular spoon to keep the liquids in the Dutch oven and not on the plate. We're going to pull those out very gently. If you screw around with those things too much, they'll fall apart on you. They're just so tender. It's just so delicious. This is really one of the best things that I've ever made, and I make it, once in a while, or not as often as I should. Easy process, absolutely breathtaking looking. They look just great in person. I think the camera, the lighting isn't quite right. It looks kind of like turds, but it's outstanding. And we'll take that red wine reduction and just kind of throw it around on top of the meat, a little bit on the potato for color and flavor. It's really good if you like red wine. If you don't like red wine, I'm not sure we can be friends. So that's how it looks doing the simulated drone flyby. You can see a little bone sticking out. Absolutely beautiful. Kind of a red hue to that reduction from the red wine. Let's take a bite. Yeah, that was good stuff, man. It's about as good as it gets, to be honest with you. I just love it. Hey, thanks for joining us. Sure appreciate it. Hit like and subscribe if you want to see us again. We'd sure appreciate that. Take care, y'all. God bless.